Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to the show. We're talking about more of the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon today. Let's start off with a fucking banger, huh? This is Palafin. I've only included the stats to the hero version of Palafin, because that's the only one that matters. It has an ability called Zero to Hero, which turns it into this form from its regular form. It's the only ability that Palafin gets, is Zero to Hero. Which is also why there's a 0% chance of it staying in OU. Look at these stats, dude. 160 attack and 100 speed. This is the same offensive spread that Slacking has. Slacking has 160 attack and 100 speed, and they felt a need to give it a detrimental ability. They did not do that with Palafin. Instead, they gave it 106 special attack and decent bulk. This Pokemon is insane. Like I said, 0% chance it stays in OU. I think you run 3 water moves on this every time. You run Flip Turn. You run its new move, Jet Punch, which is a physical water priority move with 60 base power and 100% accuracy. You get to choose which water move you want from there. If you want Wave Crash or Liquidation or Aqua Tail. If you want to miss, if you want power, or if you want the weakest option in Liquidation, you don't have a weak option coming off of 160 base attack. And then you run like Ice Punch. You're walled by water types, but who cares? Because no one's going to be running water types. They just got nerfed to shit with Scald being removed. I also listed Ice Beam and Blizzard as coverage moves, in case you have a physically bulky grass type walling you. Something like Tangrowth or something that really wants to be hit on the special spectrum instead of physical, which you do with Ice Punch. This Pokemon's insane. We have Arboliva. Arboliva? I don't know how you pronounce this. But it's grass and normal. This is the final form of Smoliv, which is one of the first Pokemon revealed. It's got decent bulk, 78 HP, 90 defense, 109 special defense, decent special attack with 125. Pretty let down by its speed stat. Abilities, you have Seed Sower. So Seed Sower, when you're hit by a physical move, you set grassy terrain. Think of Sandaconda's Sand Spit, which never sees play. You also have Harvest, which is probably what it's actually going to run with, like a Citrus Berry or something. When this gets settled in, it's probably going to run something like Synthesis, Strength Sap, Giga Drain, and probably Earth Power for coverage. This Pokemon is like okay at best. Scovillian. Now this is a Pokemon I'm a fan of. It's their first grass fire type. Looking at this stat spread, I'm getting very Cacturne vibes. You feel me? This does have a bit of a better speed stat than Cacturne though. This Pokemon definitely wants to be on a Sun team with Chlorophyll, and then moves like Flamethrower, Solar Beam, Overheat, stuff like that. Moves that just take advantage of Sun, Growth. But also, if it settles in kind of a lower tier where there's no auto Sunsetter, you can just run the move Trailblaze, which is Flame Charge but grass type, 50 base power, physical move, raises speed. And then you can just run like a mixed attacking set. You can run like Flamethrower. Does it get a good physical grass move? I don't see one here. Oh no. Maybe you run like Flamethrower, Giga Drain, Stomping Tantrum for coverage. I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of this Pokemon. I'm interested to see how it'll turn out. I think probably once we get to the lower tier, something like what I just said is going to be it. Probably Trailblaze. It just doesn't have any good coverage, man. I feel like you're forced to run Stomping Tantrum, a physical move for your coverage, which, I don't know. Might not be great. It also gets a move called Spicy Extract. I am struggling to understand what it does. I'm going to read the description as it says from game for you, okay? The user emits an incredibly spicy extract, sharply boosting the target's attack stat and harshly lowering the target's defense stat. Now that sounds like it's referring to the same Pokemon, right? So you're either raising your own attack and lowering your own defense, which is just bad Swords Dance, or you're targeting the opponent to raise their attack and lower their defense, which is just bad Screech. I'm hoping that this move does not work like that, and it raises your attack and lowers their defense. But right now I'm struggling to understand what that does. As far as flavor goes, I really love the Pokemon, and I don't know, it might be fine. It'll be a staple on some teams, I think. Bellibolt. This Pokemon is bad. This Pokemon's rough. I'll tell you what this Pokemon is going to end up doing. The set on this Pokemon's Smogon Analysis is going to be a rain setting set in PU. This is going to be the PU rain setter. You're going to probably get up screens, if you can. You're going to get up Rain Dance, and then you're going to Volt Switch to something actually good. This Pokemon sucks. This is a really bad Pokemon. It gets a new ability called Electromorphosis. So it charges when you get hit with a physical move, I believe. I don't think it's with everything. I think it's specifically a physical move. Let me check on that. Okay, it's when hit by any attack, not just a physical move. But it charges and then boosts your next electric move that you click. This Pokemon's not good enough. This will never see play. Revaroom. Now this Pokemon will see play. I think this Pokemon's going to end up being quite good. Maybe not in OU, but probably in UU. Steel Poison type, 119 attack, 90 speed, 80 HP, 90 defense, 67 special defense. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible. You know what is something to write home about? Shift Gear. You know that really good move, Dragon Dance? Shift Gear is slightly better. Because it gives you +2 speed instead of +1 speed, and it still gives you the +1 attack boost. I know you're quad weak to ground. I believe you're only weak to ground and fire. So you do have Magnet Rise. If you outpace the ground type, just Magnet Rise on them. And then you don't have to worry about it. Then you can set up your Shift Gear on them. It's kind of awkward because you can only run 2 moves then. So you probably run like Iron Head, Gunk Shot, and then just get walled by Steel types. I don't know. Your only real coverage move is like Bulldoze. You get a few support moves, stuff like Toxic Spike's Parting Shot. Toxic. This is one of the few Pokemon to retain Toxic. It gets a cool move if you don't want to run Shift Gear and you just want to run like Choice Band or something. It gets a move called Spin Out. This is a 100 base power, 100 accuracy physical steel move. It sharply lowers the user's speed. So if you just want to click it, nuke something and get out, this might not be a bad Pokemon to do it with. I think Revaroom will see play. Probably settle in UU. Orthworm. This Pokemon's fucking goofy. I haven't looked at its picture up close so much. This Pokemon looks goofy. This is a Steel type though. It has a new ability called Earth Eater. It is Volt Absorb, but for ground moves. So when you're hit by a ground move, you won't take damage, you will instead heal. Looking at the stats, that defense stat definitely sticks out. 145 is a high number. 85 attack is nothing special to write home about. I think it's the same as Steelix. It's a good bit faster than Steelix though. And one thing it has over Steelix is this move called Shed Tail. This move was revealed to be on Cyclizar. This is the Pokemon that sets up a sub and then passes in one move. So it might have potential. Other than that, it gets fine moves. Spikes gets Stealth Rock, so a good support package. Spike, Stealth Rock, Shed Tail. That seems fine to me. And then it gets like Iron Head Stab, Iron Tail Stab, Earthquake. You can run a Body Press with that high defense stat, something like that. Heavy Slam, because it'll probably be heavy. It looks heavy. I love this Pokemon. I love Mausold. It's a combination of mouse and household. There's like 10 mice altogether, I think. This Pokemon is awesome. Maybe not awesome. It's cute. Really cute. There's a cool support package. Stuff like Follow Me, Helping Hand, Super Fang for doubles, Encore, stuff like that. Thunder Wave, U-Turn. It had also in a support package is a move called Tidy Up. So this is a status move, but it removes hazards, it removes substitutes, I think opposing substitutes, and it raises this Pokemon's attack and speed. So it is Dragon Dance and Rapid Spin kind of in one, which is, well, it's not Rapid Spin because that would, if it was Dragon Dance and Rapid Spin, it'd give you +2. But boosting your attack and your speed while getting rid of hazards is really good. And then it has another signature move called Population Bomb. So that's a normal physical move with 20 base power and 90 accuracy. It hits anywhere between 1 and 10 times. I believe this is similar to Triple Axle, where each hit has its own individual accuracy check. I believe. This Pokemon gets Technician, so that 20 base power becomes 30 base power, and if you hit 10 times, that becomes 300 base power. And that's a normal move. This is a normal type Pokemon, so you add in Stab. That has potential to be 450 base power. And you might have Tidy Up before then. Wouldn't it be hilarious if this goofy little Pokemon ended up being the most broken Pokemon this generation? I don't think it will, but it'd be funny. Cetitan. So this was released, everybody looked at it, and was like, oh great, another bulky ice type. And you know, they were right. It's very bulky with 170 base HP. I think everybody expected it to be slower. I'm pleasantly surprised by the 73 speed. I'm actually quite happy with that. It gets a few cool abilities. Thick Fat will probably not see play, but the other two probably will. Flush Rush will see play on Hail teams. Obviously. This Pokemon is going to be really strong, man, because you're probably going to be running an Adamant Nature. And those Ice Punches, those Earthquakes, those Play Roughs, Liquidations, it's got good coverage. Superpowers are going to hurt off this 113 base attack. It also gets Belly Drum. I don't think you're ever going to see Belly Drum, but it does get it, and maybe that is something you should be prepared for one day. It also just gets Sheer Force, so if it drops to a lower tier where it can't use Hail, maybe it just runs a Life Orb Sheer Force set. Something like that. Seems fine. Baxcalibur. So this is the pseudo-legend of the generation. He has some pretty crazy shit. I'm not gonna lie. 145 base attack is very strong. 115, 92, 86 bulk. That's a pretty good bulk profile. 87 speed isn't bad. This Pokemon is just really good all around, right? As far as its notable moves go, it gets Swords Dance and it gets Dragon Dance. So that's, I mean, you're set up for success, right? As far as its physical moves go, it gets Ice Shard, Ice Fang, Dragon Claw. Icicle Crash is probably more likely to be used. Earthquake, Outrage. Maybe just run like DD, Earthquake, Outrage, Icicle Crash. So you do have some other fringe options. It gets a move called Glaive Rush. This is 100 base power, or 120 base power, 100 accuracy. Dragon type move, physical. So the turn after using it, the opponent's moves can't miss, and they also do double damage. So maybe you want to Glaive Rush, Sack. Glaive Rush, Sack, Glaive Rush, Sack. Something like that. Probably not. You probably just want to run a different move. Probably just want to run Outrage. Also gets an ability called Thermal Exchange. It boosts attack when hit by fire moves. And that's pretty good. And on top of that, the Pokemon can't be burned, which is also pretty good. It's not as big of a deal now that Scald has been removed from the game. Because otherwise you would just be setting up on bulky ice type or on bulky water types all the time. Just not care about their Scald. Now you still don't care about Scald, but for different reasons. This Pokemon is going to be really good. Really strong. Tatsugiri. Let's talk about last video. There's a Pokemon that kind of works with this one. Dondozo. This is the Pokemon that kind of hops in its mouth and gives it commands. That's what the commander ability does. So it's a doubles ability. If there's a Dondozo on the field, this will go inside its mouth and issue commands. I don't know exactly what that means. But because Dondozo's signature move was Dragon type without it being a Dragon type Pokemon, I'm going to assume that Tatsugiri will give it a stab on that dragon move somehow. Notable moves? Pretty shallow move pool, honestly. It gets a Nasty Plot, Dragon Pulse, Surf, and maybe you just use Rapid Spin to boost your speed and try to sweep with that. This Pokemon is like okay at best, in my opinion. 120 special attack is nothing to scoff at, but it is kind of cursed with a middling speed stat of 82. But maybe it'll be fine. Probably not. Cyclizar. Now this is a Pokemon I'm a fan of. I was already a fan of it when they revealed Shed Tail. I thought that move was going to be crazy. Sets up a sub, passes it, all in one move, one turn. And then I saw that this Pokemon got Regenerator, which means it can do that several times. And I thought that was really good. And then I saw it got Shift Gear, and then that was really good. So not only can this Pokemon be a good support Pokemon with Rapid Spin, Taunt, Shed Tail, stuff like that, it can also just be an offensive presence on its own. You can also just like run an Adamant Nature, Shift Gear, and Sweep by yourself. Because it gets stuff like, you know, it gets Dragon Claw, it gets Body Slam, right? Yeah, it gets Body Slam. It also gets some more powerful Double Edge if you're willing to take Recoil. It gets Knock Off, another one of the few Pokemon to get Knock Off. And then its coverage is just, there's a lot of coverage, okay? A lot. Iron Tail, Aqua Tail, Power Whip. A lot of stuff. Thunder Fang, Ice Fang, if you want to hit like Skarmory, trying to use this in OU, or Corviknight. It does get Outrage. This Pokemon is going to be good. And probably not even because of Shed Tail. It will be good with the Shed Tail set, but the Shift Gear set's also going to be fine. I'm looking forward to Cyclizar. Not as much as I'm looking forward to Pawmot, though. I'm a big fan of this Pokemon. Electric Fighting? That's a new typing, I believe. 115 attack and 105 speed is solid. Volt Absorb for the ability, so you have an electric immunity without being forced to run a ground type. They probably use a ground type anyway, because ground's good. Natural Cure, so if you get burnt in some fashion, you can just switch out, reset that. An Iron Fist makes it so Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. The main thing is that it makes Thunder Punch just as strong as Wild Charge, so you don't have to take Recoil, right? It also makes Ice Punch really good for your coverage. Close Combat, Bulk Up, Mach Punch for priority. This is a good Mon. It also gets Revival Blessing. This is the other Pokemon to get Revival Blessing, which, if you don't remember, it has 1 PP, and it heals a Pokemon that's fainted in your party. So, to half. So it's a revive. It also gets a new move called Double Shock. This is the only Pokemon to get it. It's 120 base power, physical electric move, and it has a similar effect to Burn Up. Once you use it, you lose your electric typing, you become pure fighting. I don't know if that'll get used. I think you probably want your electric typing, I believe. Not 100% sure of that. Good Mon. Alright, boys, that's going to be an episode. Let me know if you think I missed anything, what you think these Pokemon are going to run. Share any sets you're kind of theory crafting in the comments below. Thank you so much for vibing with me, playing some Pokemon with me, and I love you.